A lot of people quietly ask themselves the same question. Why do I always feel broke even though I make decent money? On paper, things should be fine. The paycheck is steady. The income is higher than it used to be. There's no obvious financial disaster. And yet the stress never really goes away. There's always a sense of being behind, of barely keeping up, of wondering where the money went. The first thing to understand is that this feeling isn't a personal failure. It's not a discipline problem. And it's not because you're bad with money. Most people who feel broke while earning a decent income are doing exactly what the modern system quietly encourages them to do. When income goes up, spending usually follows. Life expands to meet the paycheck. Housing gets a little nicer, convenience becomes normal, subscriptions pile up, small upgrades become permanent expenses. None of this feels irresponsible. It feels like progress. But over time, the higher income simply becomes a higher baseline, not a path to freedom. At the same time, essential costs have risen faster than most people realize. Housing, healthcare, insurance, transportation, and food now take up a much larger share of income than they did for previous generations. Even a good salary can feel thin once these fixed costs are paid. That leaves very little margin for error and almost no room to actually get ahead. Another part of the problem is that money today leaves quietly. It doesn't disappear in dramatic moments. It drains in small recurring amounts that barely register. Monthly payments, financing plans, auto renewals, buy now, pay later. The money is gone before you ever feel like you had it, which creates a constant sense of being behind even when your income is objectively fine. But beneath all of that is the deeper issue. Most people rely entirely on income. Their financial life begins and ends with a paycheck. Money comes in, money goes out, and whatever is left over is expected to somehow create security. That worked in a different era. It doesn't anymore. In today's world, income alone does not build wealth. It only sustains life. No matter how much you earn, if your money isn't growing on its own, you are always starting over every month. Your labor resets to zero every pay period. Miss work and the system stops working for you. Inflation quietly guarantees this outcome. Prices rise over time. Your purchasing power shrinks. Cash that sits still slowly loses value. Even disciplined savers fall behind if their money isn't growing faster than inflation. This is why so many people feel like they're running on a treadmill that never stops. This is where investing stops being optional and starts being necessary. Not as a way to get rich quickly, but as the only mechanism that allows money to compound instead of decay. Investing is how money escapes the one-to-one relationship with labor. It's how effort today continues to matter tomorrow. When you invest, you're doing something fundamentally different from saving. You're allowing your money to participate in growth that happens whether you're working or not. You're no longer asking your future self to work harder to make up for lost time. You're giving your money a job. Without investing, there is no leverage. There is no compounding. There is no momentum. You can budget perfectly, earn more, cut expenses, and still feel stuck. Because nothing in your financial life is designed to grow faster than the world around you. This is why people with similar incomes can end up in completely different places over time. It's not about intelligence or discipline. It's about whether their money is growing or merely circulating. One person saves diligently but keeps their money idle. The other allows time and compounding to work quietly in the background. The gap between them widens slowly, then suddenly. Investing also changes how money feels. When you have assets growing in the background, short-term fluctuations matter less. A surprise expense doesn't feel like a personal failure. A month with higher spending doesn't trigger panic. You're no longer dependent on perfect behavior to feel stable. This doesn't mean investing eliminates stress or guarantees outcomes. It means it aligns your financial life with reality. It acknowledges that wages alone can't keep up with rising costs. It accepts that time will pass, whether you participate or not. And it recognizes that doing nothing is still a decision, just one with a predictable outcome. For regular people, investing isn't about beating the market or making bold bets. It's about survival with dignity. It's about not having to work harder every year just to stay in the same place. It's about letting time do some of the heavy lifting instead of carrying everything yourself. The reason so many people feel broke despite making decent money isn't because they're failing. It's because they're playing a game that no longer rewards effort alone. The rules have changed quietly and without explanation. Investing is simply the response to that change. Not a shortcut, not a gamble, just an adjustment to how money actually works now. And once you see that, the question stops being, why do I feel broke? And becomes, how do I stop my money from standing still? That's the real shift. If you found this video educational or helpful in any way, please like and subscribe to the channel. I post new content regularly.